How many people actually died in the Colosseum? You've probably heard a headline number, something like 500,000. But here's the problem. If the Colosseum was just a nonstop slaughterhouse where every fight ended in death, how did gladiators ever become stars? How did anyone rack up wins, build a reputation, and come back again and again? And the darker question, if you were forced onto that sand, did you have any real chance to survive, or was it a one-way ticket? Stay with me. In the final minute, the whole thing clicks into place. The Colosseum wasn't only a place of death, it was a system where survival could be decided by something other than your blade. First, we need to be honest about what we even mean when we say people who died in the Colosseum. Picture a morning in Rome. You step inside and realize this isn't just an arena, it's a machine running on a schedule. Morning, animal hunts, noise, dust, fear. Midday, executions. The mood shifts and the crowd becomes something colder. Afternoon, gladiators, the headline act people remember. From the stands, it doesn't feel like one event. It feels like a full-day menu of emotions. Shock, thrill, punishment, admiration for skill, the rush of deciding someone's fate. And once you understand it's not one show, but several, you start asking a different question. Who was dying the most, and why do we assume it was always gladiators? This story has two parts. One, how many people died here, when the numbers we have are estimates, not a clean tally. Two, how anyone could survive in a place that popular culture treats like automatic death. Let's break it down into three key mechanisms, and then I'll give you the simplest, most honest answer. We start with the number everyone loves to repeat, and what it really includes. What "how many died" actually means. There's a widely repeated estimate, roughly 500,000 people and around 1 million animals killed in events held at the Colosseum over its centuries of use. But here's the trap. That's not a gladiator deaths number. It's an everything number. Because a standard day wasn't just duels, it was structured. Morning animal hunts, midday executions, and only then the gladiatorial bouts as the main spectacle. So the moment you ask how many died, you have to ask, who were we counting? Gladiators? Condemned criminals? People executed as part of public punishment? And yes, executions were a huge part of the culture. Sources describe punishments that could include crucifixion, burning, execution by the sword, or death by wild beasts, with penalties shaped by social status. And now the uncomfortable thought. If a massive share of deaths came from executions and animal spectacles, then gladiators may not have been the main disposable cast, which leads to the real question: how did survival work? Why a gladiator fight wasn't automatically to the death, and where the chance appears. Here's what movies usually cut. There could be a break built into the system. A defeated gladiator might request missio, mercy, release from immediate death, and then the outcome depended on procedure. Officials intervened, the sponsor decided, and the crowd could push for mercy or for the kill. Now the key statistic for your "how do you survive" question. According to George Ville's estimates from inscriptions, as summarized by Roger Dunkel, the odds of a gladiator surviving a match in the 1st century could be as high as 9-1 in his favor. In other words, survival could be normal, and death was not a guaranteed ending every time. Why would mercy exist in a brutal culture? Because gladiators were expensive. Training, food, branding, skill, this was investment. Dunkel also notes the economic reality. If a sponsor refused mercy, he could owe compensation to the owner or trainer who provided that gladiator. So killing a valuable fighter was not just cruel, it was costly. So yes, there was a chance, which raises the real thriller question. What actually increased it? How to survive the Colosseum? If you were the one on the sand. Let's be brutally honest. Survive the Colosseum is two different stories. Story 1, you're condemned. Then, survival is basically not the point. The arena becomes a stage for punishment. In that scenario, the survival strategy happens outside the amphitheater. not becoming the kind of person marched out at midday. Story 2. You're a gladiator, part of the entertainment machine. And here, survival isn't win at all costs, it's be worth keeping alive. What raised your odds? By the logic of the system. Make it a performance, not a brawl. A fight that electrified the crowd created pressure for mercy. Lose the right way. Missio wasn't pure cowardice. It could be a formal admission of defeat under the rules, sometimes even requested while standing, which carried less shame. Become a valuable asset. Reputation, skill, and crowd appeal made you more expensive to throw away. The economy of spectacle mattered. And the wild twist, sometimes both fighters survived, and both won. Dunkel recounts a famous case during the Colosseum's inauguration, where the match was so evenly fought that both were declared victors and released. The Colosseum killed on a massive scale, but not evenly. For some, it was a sentence carried out. For others, it was a brutal profession with a survival mechanism built in, because a dead star can't sell tomorrow's show. And this is what makes the Colosseum truly unsettling. We like to file it under ancient barbarism, but it's also a modern lesson. Violence becomes normal when it's organized, scheduled, categorized, regulated, and even priced. The scariest part isn't only that people died there, it's that the place ran like a system that could make death feel like part of the day, and still offer just enough chance to keep the spectacle alive.